So how do we develop emotional maturity? Well, a starting point is understanding this idea of self-awareness. And to begin to understand self-awareness, we'd like to begin with an understanding, a tool that we call the 4 lenses, in which we break temperament down into 4 basic temperaments. We've identified each of them by color so they're easy to remember. A lot of times we've taken personality tests in the past and it's really hard to remember what was it again and what am I again. By assigning the colors to these 4 temperaments, it makes it so it's like Velcro sticking to the brain. People don't forget it. Once they understand what a blue is, they understand what blue is and how blue acts and operates, and a green and a gold and an orange. So today I'm going to focus in on the gold. And in fact, I'm going to focus in on as though you are a gold, and I'm going to talk to you as though this is what you would be like. And so that you can understand from a gold perspective how they act, how they behave, what's important to them. So let's get started. The gold temperament, sum it up in just a couple words. They're about order and structure. Now there's a lot more to the golds than just order and structure. They live in a world and they like a life of being able to control what's happening to them in their life. They like to put things in places and the things stay in those places. In fact, a slogan that a lot of the golds utilize is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? And so they're not big on changing things up just because they need to change things up. So as a gold enters into their world and as they go and interact with others, from an emotional intelligence perspective, an emotional maturity perspective, they kind of struggle. They're not as open perhaps to listen to what your ideas are or what your plan is, because reality is the gold has already put the plan in place. And now there's an expectation that you just need to follow their plan. You need to follow their rules. So the golds, as they're going through life, whether at home or at work, they find a lot of difficulty perhaps in leading and working with other folks, simply for the fact that they have to always be the one that's in charge. Now we talk about golds in terms of the great things that they bring. When we talk about gold, they really are the 4 temperaments. They're the temperament of leadership. Why? Because the job of leaders is to get results, to get things done. And oh, by the way, golds get things done. That's what they're loved for, and they love doing. And in fact, golds, when it talks about vacation, a gold going on vacation, it's interesting. It's like, so where are you going to go on vacation? They'll not only tell you where they're going to go, they're going to tell you when they're going to leave, what their first stop is, what the next stop is, what they'll be doing at that stop, what time they're going to be having their meals, and they have it all planned out. There's an itinerary that goes from the beginning till they get home. Now that works well for them. Now imagine if you happen to not be a gold and you are in that family, or you don't happen to have gold as your temperament and you're not that kind of employee. That's where a lot of conflict comes. And so there's some things that we want to introduce to you, though, that when we talk about this emotional maturity that begins to have problems, and we call that low mature behaviors. I'd like to share with you a few low mature behaviors that the golds exhibit. So if you find yourself, today we're talking about the gold, so low mature behaviors for a gold are something like this. It's my way or the highway, buddy. You've got to do what I say, you got to do when I say it, and then you've got to report back that you did it. Right? That's kind of a common behavior for a lot of golds. Another low mature behavior for a gold is that there's no flexibility to what we're doing. You know, we begin this project and we get halfway through this project and we realize that we really need to take a left turn right here. And a low mature gold is like, no, we can't take a left turn right here. We have to finish what we're doing and where we're going. And then if we need to go back and regroup, we can. But right now, we got to finish what we're doing. So it creates a lot of inefficiencies. And then the other part, low mature behavior, is that if you don't want to follow, they don't have a problem with it because they actually have more confidence that they can do it themselves better anyway. So being a gold is wonderful. There's wonderful attributes associated with that. They get things done. Low mature behaviors then, this is where we talk about that emotional maturity comes in. Low mature behaviors for the gold really begin to have negative impacts on them and the people around them. And ultimately what they're trying to do is get results, but they end up not being able to get the results as fast and as important and getting them done when they need to get done. So now great information, but what do you do with it, right? I know what a gold would prefer and how they prefer to behave. I know what low mature golds and what that would look like. So how do I begin to change and improve my emotional maturity? Let me give an example of what it would look like. There's a statement from a low mature perspective that says, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to do it. If I gained some emotional maturity, it would be more like this. I bring the team together. I say, here's where we're going. Here's where we need to go. Here's the destination that we need to get to. Here's my idea of how I believe we could get there, but I know that I don't have all the answers. What are some of the ways that you think we should get there? And then they go around the table and they listen and they accept the ideas that are coming from all the different people in the room. And at that point in time, then they also have to then be willing to be flexible and know that their way might not be the right way, but at least they've established the goal of where we need to get to, which is really important to them. How we get there needs to not be as important, that I can engage others because there might be some other ideas that are really, really important that I might not have considered. So that's how emotional maturity can help a goal be more successful. It just comes in the presentation. Still, I can say the same thing, here's where we need to go, because every leader needs to be able to do that. But then the question is that do we have to get there your way? That'd be low mature. High maturity would be, here's where we need to go. How do we think we can get there? And I engage in a great discussion. I learn listening skills, which is a high maturity behavior. I learn adaptability skills, which is a high mature behavior. And ultimately, I maintain who I am and all the greatness of who I am, and I enhance my ability through this emotional maturity and growth. So I'd like to invite you to join us by clicking below. Take your free assessment. Begin your journey on gaining greater emotional maturity through understanding your temperament, and then take that learning and begin to understand the temperament of others. And as you do that, you can help us and join us on our journey of putting the human back into humanity.